Welcome in, everybody. We have another loaded week on tap for week 7 of college football. We got 6 total games to break down, a couple other ones that are floating under the radar. We got a ton of best bets to add during and at the end of the show. My record this season, 22-15. Lance is rocking a 20-17 record for a combined 42-32 record, was just about under a 57% hit rate. So, and our upset alerts, man, we've hit every single week except for one. So on the money line too. So we're rolling. We're ready to go. Stay tuned till the end on the best bets segment, or you can hit that timestamp right now and go straight to it. This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Nohe, Lance Barton. Real quick before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. If you're watching the video on YouTube, again, make sure you like. Just the subscribers really help us out. Lets us know we're doing a good job. Make sure you follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Let's get to our big game breakdowns, as always, sponsored by Branded Bills. Click on the link in the episode description or the QR code that is in the top right of the screen. Go to brandedbills.com, type in branded15 for 15% off your order. They got all kinds of hats, all kinds of teams, all kinds of styles, America, dad life, all kinds of stuff. We have rocked their hats for a long time now. We love partnering with them. So brandedbills.com, or hit the link in our description. Click on that QR code and type in branded15 at checkout. Let's start where College Game Day is going to be this week in Eugene, Oregon, for number 7, Indiana, taking on number 3, Oregon. 3:30 CBS game. Oregon, 7.5-point favorites right now. It's down from 10.5 when we did our guess the spread on Sunday night. This is a good one, man. This is the type of game that the CBS, contract was okay giving up for the SEC, not like a Penn State UCLA. This is the type of game that they were gearing for, for the Big Ten. These two teams, man, like they grade out so similarly to each other. Indiana is 5th in opponent adjusted offense. Oregon's 9th. Indiana's 17th in opponent adjusted defense. Oregon's 15th. The thing that worries me for the Hoosiers, obviously, other than going to, Autzen Stadium and playing in front of that raucous crowd environment, all that stuff going on in Eugene, which, since 2023, the Ducks are 18-0 straight up and 11-6 against the spread at home. Main thing I'm worried about for the Hoosiers is just the speed of the game and just the athleticism from Oregon. I know this is not a typical like Indiana football team that have been the past couple of years, where they've got the guys who can contend and can hang with those speedsters, but we saw it last year with Ohio State and Notre Dame. When they went on the road and they played in those environments, they didn't fare too well. And so I still expect to be a good game, but Oregon has got to feel really good going into this matchup, I feel like.
I don't disagree, man. So we're gonna go podcast style on some of these games, man. So question for you. There's still a lot of people out there, man, a lot, that me and you don't feel this way, but a lot of people outside of Bloomington, Indiana, that aren't Indiana fans feel this way, that they just still don't respect Indiana enough as a quote unquote, like one of your better upper tiered college football teams because of the age old saying, well, who they beat, who they play.
Yeah.
And a game like this, going on the road to Oregon, this is such a huge game, man, for the Hoosiers and Cignetti and that bunch to, again, they don't have to gain my respect or anything like that. They have mine. But don't you think that this is a game that if Sigs and Indiana would actually go into Oregon and win this game, or they even go in and it's like a very, very highly competitive, great, just well-played football game between two really dang good football teams, that would garner a lot of respect for the Hoosiers nationally from everybody else? Do you feel that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of the reason why I bring that up is all week long, man, like this matchup. You just said it with the opponent adjusted metrics. I told you yesterday when I was taking a deep dive into some of these matchups that I like to look at both sides of the ball. I like to look at a bunch of different metrics and stats to see like where's a big edge for one team over the other. And dude, it was really hard to find one, which really caught me off guard by just like how legit both of these teams really are across the board. Like, dude, people need to quit with the who they played, who they beat, all that kind of stuff constantly. Like, just sit back and enjoy this freaking matchup for what it is. And this matchup is a matchup between two really dang good football teams with two fantastic coaching staffs that are both elite coaching staffs that are going against one another. And every metric and the opponent adjusted metrics that you just gave tells you that. Dude, every offensive and defensive thing I looked at was unbelievable how close that these two teams were. And another question for you. Will we get in this entire season, will we get a better matchup at the quarterback position than what we've got right now with Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza? Mendoza 16, while you're thinking about it, Mendoza 73% with 16 tutties and 2 rushing touchdowns and only 1 interception. Dante Moore 75% with 14 tutties, only 1 pick. Dude's only been sacked 1 time. I mean, the numbers that these two guys are putting up are outrageous. They're both right now listed, I think, in the top 5 of the Heisman odds currently. So, not trying to be prisoner of the moment, but I don't know that we're going to see this year a better matchup among two quarterbacks as far as how good these two guys are personally.
Yeah, not in the regular season, probably. I mean, not until we get to the playoffs for sure, right?
Yeah.
And you get some of those matchups. But yeah, you look at the teams they played too, and like obviously their biggest games are against Illinois and then Penn State.
Mhm.
Obviously, Oregon's was a completely different situation going on the road and the whiteout, all that stuff, had everything going against them,
Yep.
won that in double overtime. Indiana's was against, Illinois at home, where they just beat them by half 100.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't matter where they played them that day; they could have beat anybody.
Massacre.
So,
Yep.
yeah, it's. I think Indiana got really lucky with this game that it's a 3:30 Eastern kick, 12:30 local kick at Oregon.
Yeah, I think again, both teams coming off a bye, so no rest advantage or anything like that. But I do think it helps with Indiana too, like getting extra time to prep for this, to prep for going on the road, playing in an environment like Autzen. I mean, Autzen Stadium is it's legit, man. It's one of the best atmospheres in all of college football. But so really quick on the matchup part of it, Indiana has been one of the best run defenses in college football the last 2 years. They were either number 1 or number 2 in the country last year against the run. They've been really good against the run again this year. They've got to be able to limit the explosive plays in the running game for Oregon. Oregon's got 3 stud backs. None of them, by the way, are named Mekhi Hughes. I saw where he, by the way, is like going to be doing that red shirt thing, where basically he's announcing to the world, I'm already entering the transfer portal, but I'm not actually entering the transfer portal because the portal's not open. But
I've got no idea what happened there.
Me either, man. Well, I'll tell you what happened. De'Aaron Hill Jr. happened.
Yeah, it's just,
and Jordan Davison happened.
Yeah.
Definitely.
De'Aaron
Hill Jr., bro's averaging 10.4 yards a carry. He's averaging more yards per carry than a lot of the top wide receivers in college football are averaging yards per catch. That's just unbelievable. And Jordan Davison has 7 touchdowns. Both of those cats are freshmen. So they've got to slow down that running game. And I believe Indiana can. The only problem is like Oregon has one of the best offensive lines in all of college football. What they did against Penn State and Isaiah World and Pregnon and the dude they brought in from Texas State, like that O-line, man, has been legit all year long.
Yeah.
They've only given up 1 sack, dude. All year. 1 sack, Dante Moore. So Indiana's got to be able to find a way to get a little pressure on Dante Moore. Got to be able to slow down that Oregon running game. Can't allow them to hit home runs, the explosive plays that we've seen from this Oregon offense under Will Stein for these last few years. And the key to that is they got to be able to tackle in space, man. They're going to throw those little quick passes to those speedy wide receivers, to DeCorian Moore, into that group of receivers, Gary Bryant Jr. and that crew. They're going to be slinging the ball out on the perimeter to them. Kenyon Sadiq is probably the best athlete in the country at the tight end position. Tons of speed for him as well. They're going to get the ball into those guys' hands quick. Indiana has to be able to tackle in space and get them on the ground. Good news for Indiana. One of the best corners in all of college football, D'Angelo Pines, they announced this week he's going to be a go in this game. So, yeah, man, it's good on good. Indiana's got multiple dudes on defense that are going to be NFL players playing on Sundays. Obviously, we know Oregon does too. Indiana's got 2 of the best wide receiver 1-2 punch in all of college football, and Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr. I can't wait. It's just wild sitting here talking about Indiana in this way, man. That one of the best
Yeah.
matchups that we're going to have all season long, possibly in the Big Ten, is Indiana, the Hoosiers, again in Oregon. This is again just a matchup between two dang good football teams.
Yeah, hopefully one of the best matchups we had, period, in college football this year, which is, yeah, again, crazy to say about Indiana football, but that's just a testament of what Kurt Cignetti has done in just a season and a half there. And I mean, these are two of the best coaching staffs
Mm-hmm.
in the country,
Agreed.
and you're giving them both 2 weeks to come up with a game plan to prepare for the other opponent. And yeah, man, I cannot wait to see it at all. Game picks. I'm gonna go with Indiana plus 7.5. I'm gonna make it a best bet. I'm gonna take Indiana plus 7.5.
Okay.
First best bet of the day. I just think that they keep it close. I don't know. It wouldn't shock me at all if they went in there and they won the game. I just don't know if they are at that point yet. Um, could they go and win? Yes. I mean, but that's why I think, like, I mean, I'm struggling with that. Like, that's why I think the 7.5 points to me is easy. But could I see Oregon blow them out by a couple touchdowns or stretch it out at the end of the game? Kind of like Ohio State did last year. Kind of like, I mean, Notre Dame had a 27-3 lead, in the fourth quarter. That could happen too. But I just think Fernando Mendoza being an experienced quarterback, being used to the West Coast, they have the running game, they have the receivers, they've got the defense. I'm anxious to see that D'Angelo Pons versus Decory Moore matchup. I think that'll be really good. I think Siggs and Brian Haynes and Shanahan, they'll all come in there with a very, very good game plan to slow down and to limit the Oregon offense. And I think they keep it close. I think they keep it within the 7.5, but I think Oregon probably gets the job done in the end.
I mean, not to have any drama here, but I'm with you. I'm with you in lockstep with that. I think Indiana gives Oregon all they want in this game. I think they compete their butt off against the Ducks in Autzen, but it's just hard for me to predict Indiana to win outright at Oregon, one of the toughest places to play in all of college football, against one of the best teams in all of college football. But Indiana is also one of the better teams in college football right now, until proven otherwise. They are. And I agree with you. The coaching matchup is going to be fantastic. Both teams have awesome head coaches, fantastic coordinators on both sides of the ball for each team. Uh, I just want to see, though, like, do you agree? Like, it seemed like Siggs coached different last year in the Notre Dame game and in that Ohio State game. It didn't seem like he had the same, like, attacking style mentality that, like the stone cold killer, like, go for blood.
Especially in the Notre Dame game.
Agreed, like, just the
Yeah.
sharks and blood-infested waters type.
Like he just wanted to cover the spread.
Yeah, it's kinda what it seemed like. Yeah, it really is. It's kinda what it seemed like. Like, I wanna see Siggs and Shanahan Jr. and that crew, like, let it rip, dude. Let it rip
Yeah.
with Mendoza, with that howitzer of a quarterback that you've got. Like, go into Autzen like Dan Lanning does with Oregon when he goes into hostile environments. They go in there and, like, they're literally like sharks and blood-infested waters going for blood, on the
Mhm.
road in those games. That's how Indiana needs to treat this game. But I just think Oregon's got too many horses, man. They're too good on both sides of the ball. I think it's gonna be a well played football game, but I'll take Oregon to win. I'll take Indiana to cover. It's not a best bet at this moment.
3:30 Eastern on ABC, down in Dallas, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl, the Red River Shootout, number 6, Oklahoma, taking on unranked Texas. And this line started off around Texas -3, and it's basically down to a pick 'em. I mean, ESPN Bet has Oklahoma -1.5. FanDuel and DraftKings have Texas -1.5. We don't really know whether or not John Mateer is going to play. Pete Thamel came out and said it looks like he might try to give it a go. We don't know how healthy he will be. We don't know how healthy that hand will be. We don't know if he can grip the ball. We don't know if he can spin it. We don't know. I mean, what is going to be his capabilities? Are they going to run a 2 quarterback system? Like, we just have absolutely no idea what's going on with John Mateer. And that leaves a lot of question marks with this game.
Yeah.
Both defenses are very, very good. The opponent adjusted defense for Oklahoma is 3rd in the country. Texas is 7th. Through the first 6 weeks of the college football season, we only had 3 instances where an unranked team was favored over an AP ranked team. And this is the first that we're going to talk about of 3 alone this week. And those previously 3 unranked teams went 2-1 straight up and 1-1-1 against the spread. So, what are your first thoughts on this game, man? Because I've got some here, but I'm gonna let you go first.
I think both defenses are going to dominate this game. That's if Mateer plays. If he doesn't play, I think both defenses are going to dominate this football game. I think Brent Venables, like again, when he's calling the defense, we've talked about it nausea on this show that he's the best defensive coordinator, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, in my lifetime. And he's calling the defense now. And it's no secret that Oklahoma is one of the best defenses in the country right now. And they look exactly like a Brent Venables defense did when he was at Clemson and when he was at Oklahoma back in the day under Bob Stoops. They're attacking at the line of scrimmage. They get a zillion tackles for a loss. They sack the quarterback constantly. They just create negative plays and havoc, all the havoc rate things that you look at online. Oklahoma's up there at the top in about every category. That's exactly what the Sooners do. And I mean, I don't think it's a get right week for Arch Manning and this Texas offense because of how good that Oklahoma defense is. But make no mistake about it, Texas is one of the best defenses in the country as well. If Mateer was even 100%, I'd still be sitting here saying that the Texas defense, I do think, is going to also dominate this football game. I don't know any way to say it. Michael Hawkins is booty, bro. He's booty. Maybe he comes out and just, has the game of games and it's his coming out party and it's the Michael Hawkins legacy game in this
Well,
game.
last time we saw him against Texas, obviously it was 34-3.
Yeah.
But this offensive line for Oklahoma is much better. He's got healthy wide receivers. He had no healthy wide receivers in that game. And the defense is a lot better too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think if Oklahoma wins this game, it's not going to be because Michael Hawkins just all of a sudden throws for 300 plus and, just goes off, against them. It's going to be the defense. Whoever wins this game is going to be the defense wins the game, in my opinion. The causing turnovers, negative plays, field position type stuff. Like you turn into a field goal battle. You're setting your offense up around midfield, and all you need is a first down or two, and you can kick a field goal. And a field goal was huge in this game. When you get into the red zone, can you get in the end zone and not have to kick a field goal? Can you get 6 and not 3? Like those types of things are going to be heightened even more in this game because of how good these two defenses are. And I just think that's where it is for me. I've got a best bet in this game. I've got under 43.5. If it goes over, it's the Red River Shootout. And normally this game is nuts. But I just
Red River Slogfest.
Yeah, it's going to be the Red River. Get the women and the kids out of here. The defenses on the field are going to be popping folks. And I just think these two defenses dominate the game. And it's going to, so I'll take under 43.5. I'm not joking, dude. I could see a 16, 13 to 10 type of game here. I really could.
Yeah. You talked about the defenses and the turnovers and everything. Like Oklahoma just last week forced their first turnovers of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And they forced 2 against Kansas State. They had 0 first turnovers before that. They were one of the few teams through the first 4 or 5 weeks that was hadn't had a forced a turnover, and they were top 5 in the country.
You know what negates that, in my opinion, though? When you're getting games against P4 opponents and you're getting double-digit sacks and double-digit tackles for a loss, creating that many negative plays, forcing turnover. I mean, yeah, it's always great to force turnovers, but if it don't really matter when the opposing team is constantly in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and you're just absolutely wearing them out defensively.
So my question is obviously the Oklahoma D-line is elite. Texas offensive line, not looking great.
No, let's call it what it is. They've been booty so far this year. They've been bad.
And we talked about them in the offseason. They didn't go to the portal, and we said, okay, that's probably because that tells me they like what they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through 5 games, they look like they've evaluated wrong. I
agree.
That's the case. I mean, so I expect Oklahoma's defensive line to, control the game. That's going to dictate the game. If they are getting pressure on Arch and forcing him into sacks or turnovers or whatever, because Arch has shown, at least through 5 games this year, that he's prone to some turnovers. And if they're forcing that, then that's going to be it. If somehow Texas offensive lines figures it out in 6 days from the Florida game, then, maybe they'll make me look foolish. But I just think Oklahoma's defense has the potential to hold this Texas offense to single digits.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
a la Ohio State.
Yep. But like honestly, I think Texas's defense is good enough to hold Oklahoma to single digits. I really do, especially with it no matter what. If Mateer, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't think Mateer is going to be 100% like if he plays. Maybe he will. And if he is, that probably does the answer to this game. But I just think both defenses, man, can dominate this game. The other part too, like Oklahoma's offensive line is absolutely better than what it was last year, no question. But bro, it still ain't great. I mean, it's not elite. It's not good enough to go out there and push Texas around. Like, I really don't feel that way at all.
Dude, is this gonna be like a classic like at 9-6 game, or is it gonna be like the classic like Frank Beamer 0-0 raising his hands, going in overtime 0-0?
Honestly, man, because I've sat here for the last 8 minutes talk about what a defensive slugfest this is going to be, we know probably what will end up happening. It'll end up being a high scoring affair. There'll be punt returns and block kicks and everything else, and it'll go over. But yeah, I just think again, man, Pete K, defensive coordinator for Texas, is one of the best in the sport. And the other thing that you just don't think about, man, that we don't like talk about enough, I feel like, the mindset of these 18 to 23-year-olds, the wounded animal back against the wall mode.
Yeah.
We saw Florida last week. All that talent that they've got was unlocked last week, and they've always had the talent. But last week, they literally played like their life depended on that game. All Texas has done all week long, bro, is sat around. New York Times is writing, I'm almost going to say it, excuse my French, but a bullshit article about Arch Manning, and everybody's questioning Sark. Everybody's questioning Texas this week. They're soft. People they're soft, is what everybody's saying now. Can they go and do anything about it? They still got dudes on that team. Will they come out in wounded animal mode to do something about it? I think you throw some of that out when it's a rivalry game like this, obviously. But
yeah. Well, when the old saying, when you're in a must-win situation, you must not be very good. And when someone is sitting there and they're trying to show you exactly who they are, you got to believe them. And Texas is trying to show everybody exactly who they are all season long. So I'm making it a best bet. I'm taking the Sooners to win the game straight up.
Is it a best bet, you said?
Best bet.
All right. I'm not making it a best bet. I'm going to take Texas in this game. And I'm going to take, again, I think it's going to be like a field goal difference between whoever wins this game. And I'm going to take Texas to come out here in wounded animal mode and to find a way, no matter who wins, it's going to be ugly, to find a way to get it done in a low scoring affair. And Texas wins by around a field goal in this game, in a very low scoring game. And again, my best bet in this game is under 43.5, without question.
Number 8, Alabama is traveling to Columbia, Missouri to take on number 14, Mizzou at noon on ABC. A line currently is, I think, Alabama -3, seemed -2.5 in a couple of spots too. Since 2023, Missouri is 17-1 straight up at home and 11-8 against the spread. And since 2022, Mizzou is 5-1 against the spread as a home dog, 12-6 against the spread as an underdog, period. For me, this one's simple, man. Missouri's got the number 2 pressure rate in the country. Can they get pressure on Ty Simpson?
Yeah.
If they can, they're going to have extremely good chance to win this game.
Yep.
If they can't, Ty's going to do what Ty does and what he's done to everybody else, and he's going to pick them apart. And there's not much you can do about it. Not much anybody can do about it, save for possibly Ohio State or, an elite defense like that. The other thing, too, obviously you got to look at is on the Missouri side of the ball, can Bo Perbula cause some problems? Because obviously we talked about it's more, defense is a little transition from the Nick Saban days, obviously. So it's going to be like a Kirby Smart defense, so we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But can that running quarterback pose some problems a la Tommy Castellanos, what he did earlier? And Diego Pavia, the first half last year used his legs a little bit. They had the running game going a little bit. Can Alabama stop Ahmad Hardy in that third-ranked rushing offense in the country? Because their defense, they're 113th in allowing explosive rush rates. They're also 98th in third down conversion rates allowed. Alabama's defense is. So, but again, it's all about if Missouri can get pressure on Ty Simpson, they're going to have a really good shot. If the offensive line for Alabama bows up and gives him time to throw and time to find his guys, he's going to be really good. But one noted podcaster, media guy, college football guy out there said that this game for the Alabama offensive line will be much, much harder than when they play the Georgia defensive line.
I don't disagree, man. Zion Young and Damon Wilson. Damon Wilson transferred from Georgia. Those two edge rushers from Mizzou can get after you, no doubt. But dude, this is what's so fascinating about this. This is another game that there's going to be so many people that's going to sit around this week and talk about, well, who's Mizzou played, who they beat, and like they're going to show up and Bama's going to show them. They finally they run into somebody, and maybe that's the case. But what you really should be talking about between these two teams is, again, this is a matchup between two really dang good football teams with two incredible coaching staffs that we get the honor to sit there and watch right out of the gate at 11 a.m. Central and noon Eastern, right down the road from me here in beautiful O'Fallon, Missouri. CoMo is only a little over an hour away from me here. And I think this is going to be this game's going to have the goods, bro. And it's so fascinating. So something to do with the coaching matchup here that I want to bring up. I kind of brought it up last year when these two teams met. So Corey Batoon, the defensive coordinator for Mizzou, he's got some ties. He's coached under Hugh Freeze in the past. He's coached with Kane Womack when they were both at Ole Miss in the past when Hugh Freeze was there as well. But Kane Womack was the head coach at South Alabama before he took the defensive coordinator job at Alabama. When Kane Womack was the head coach at South Alabama, his defensive coordinator, Corey Batoon, who's, of course, the defensive coordinator now at Mizzou. So those two know each other really well. They know each other's tendencies, know what they want to do. I have no idea which one that means what for the other. Just saying I think it's pretty cool that's neat. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. Kirby Moore, offensive coordinator for Mizzou. He was a wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator, and coached under Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb at Fresno in the past. So again, obviously they know each other well. Not saying there's an advantage there one way or the other. It's just obviously these staffs and these coordinators know each other really well. So the cat and mouse game there is going to be really interesting between the coordinators and to see who can gain what advantage there. Obviously, Mizzou having 2 weeks off. I love how Drink, always keeps it real. He basically regurgitated what you just said, man. He was talking about Ty Simpson from Alabama, and he was like, look, we can sit back in zone, and he'll probably just pick us apart. We can go man, and, there's a lot of different things he can do there. It really comes down to we've got to find a way to get pressure on him, to speed him up, and do what every single quarterback that wants to be a pocket passer, that wants to sling the ball around the yard, everything that always gives them trouble is you get pressure right up in their face. Can Mizzou do that? Because like you said, if they don't, that wide receiver core for Alabama is just too good to drop back over and over and over again in pass plays and for you to cover all 4 or 5 of them play after play after play and not expect them to get open. Like it's going to happen. They're going to get open. So you've got to be able to get pressure on Simpson. Alabama on the other side of the ball, I mean, this Mizzou rushing attack, man, like you said, is legit. That outside zone run game, they're going to stress the perimeter of Alabama's defense big time. And
Dude, Ahmad Hardy, like we should have had him in our top running
Yeah.
backs over Mekhi Hughes.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, a lot of people should have had Ahmad Hardy higher. But Hardy and like this whole running game in general for them, like Jamal Roberts, the backup running back behind Ahmad Hardy, he's legit too. Perbula obviously is really good with his feet. He's going to have to use his feet. So the game plan for Alabama is, in my opinion, defensively is simple. You got to be able to slow down that running game. You don't have to like stuff it. Obviously, that's great if you can stuff it and stop it. I want to see, this is a college football fan. I want to see if Bo Perbula can drop back and beat a legit defense when the game's on his shoulders to just sling the ball around the yard and get people open, throw it to Rasek, him win the game, put the game on his shoulders, and him throw the football. I want to see if Alabama can slow down that running game to where it makes Bo Perbula have to do that. He may show us and show the whole world that he can. But like that's got to be Alabama's game plan defensively in this game. Now you already said it too. The record at home for Mizzou over the last several years it's been ridiculous, man. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz over the last 3 years in general. Like I'm pretty sure they won 11 games counting their bowl game 2 years ago. They won 9 or 10 games last year. They're off to whatever undefeated start
Yep.
this year. I mean, dude, they're winning at a high clip the last 3 years. And the casuals out there have not recognized Mizzou yet this year.
Dude, I feel like they're a little bit like Indiana last year. Like they're not like they don't have like the history of just awfulness that IU football
Right.
had. But we're talking about Missouri football here. Like they've been to one SEC championship game, sure, but like they don't have a history. Two SEC, yeah, they don't have a history of winning though. Like
They've been good.
are
They were
kind of
good.
really
Like
like
in
you
the
always talk about, like the little puppy dog of the SEC about how you guys should be honored you get to play in the SEC, right?
Yeah, that's how people treat them, and they shouldn't treat them
Yeah,
that way. They really shouldn't. But I agree. Like other SEC like fans, casuals around the country, like again, they're looking at this game like, oh yeah, look at Mizzou, they're pretty good this year or whatever. Dude, Mizzou's been badass for 3 years. Like, come on,
yeah,
and they were really good under
yeah.
Gary Pinkel for a long time. But yeah, no, I agree with you. That's how people treat them. So this is
Well,
an
it just kind of feels like they're just flying under the radar a little bit
yep.
in the rankings. They're just kind of winning games. They're creeping up. They're up to number 14 now. Like kind of how Indiana was just winning games against who they should beat last year. And now they get up to their test. And, will they be like Indiana and falter, or will they, get that big win? I don't know.
No, well, dude, let me just say this though: if Mizzou wins this game, dude, this is such a huge game for Mizzou in so many reasons. Like what you just said, like it really like they will then garner the respect of everybody nationally. They'll have everybody's attention if they go out and win this game. They should already have everybody's attention, but I get it. There's people out there because they've got the 109th ranked strength of schedule right now that they don't have
Yeah.
everybody's attention. But if they go out and win this game, that gets everybody's attention. But dude, more than that, you look at Mizzou's schedule going forward.
Yeah.
They are very much so like they already are as we stand here right now. They are a playoff contender. But if they win this game, they are a legit like they would have to screw up in my opinion to not make the playoffs at this point. Like they would
Yeah.
have to all of a sudden like lose games that they shouldn't lose to not make the playoffs if they go out and win this game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. This isn't some, it's not like your typical, you just look at it on its face, Alabama versus Mizzou. They're going to go in, they're going to beat them. Like,
agreed.
this is a 3-point spread for a reason. Like last week, Texas was favored by 4.5 for a reason.
Yep.
And Florida went in and they took care of business. And I was doing my research in this game. And obviously the home dog record for Missouri, the underdog record as a whole for Missouri the last 3 years being 12-6. That's a 66% rate. The home record, all this stuff, number 2 pressure rate, Ahmad Hardy, all that stuff. This is our third big game breakdown, and this is my third best bet. I'm going to go against all that stuff, man. I'm going to take Alabama -3. I'm going to take Alabama -3. I think they get it done, man. I know what you talked about. It's going to be tough for them to get through this schedule unscathed the rest of the way.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the spot to trip them up. I had them preseason winning this game. So I'm going to stick with that. There's a spot here in a couple weeks that we'll talk about in a couple weeks, obviously, that I think is more likely to trip them up. But this game being at noon, too, my affinity for road teams at noon. I think Alabama comes in focused. I think you say DeBoer with the black hoodie on the sidelines, and they keep it rolling, man.
Yeah, he's going to have that black hoodie on, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a one possession game, man. One possession, somewhere between like that, touchdown to 10-point game. I'm also taking Alabama as a best bet in this game. And again, I don't think it's because Alabama is just so much better than Mizzou or something like that. I really don't. I think that we are getting a chance here to, I'm going to use the phrase buy low a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily that's the case or not. It's the way I feel about it, that I'm getting Alabama here to 2.5, 3-point line. I actually got it at 2.5. It dropped to 2.5 yesterday, and I saw that, and I just said, you know what? I've got to take a shot at that. So I took Alabama -2.5 in this game against Mizzou. I think Alabama will be stressed defensively by that Mizzou running game. I do think Purbulla will make some plays. I just think Alabama's offense is going to be really, really, really tough to stop. Them finding their running game with Jam Miller last week, as well as good as that offensive line's been playing for Alabama the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think Alabama finds a way to get it done. It will be, for Alabama fans, extremely stressful. Be a very close game, well-played game. I think there's going to be some points scored in this one. I think Mizzou will have some success on offense as well with Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts and those two legit receivers, Kevin Coleman and Marquise Johnson. And man, from right here in my backyard, Brett Norfleet from O'Fallon, Missouri, one of the best tight ends in college football so far this season. Dude's a weapon. He's going to make some plays too for Mizzou. I just think Alabama in that passing game and the ability to be more balanced now on offense, they'll find a way to get it done and win this game out, around one possession and cover that 2.5 point spread.
All right, I got 3 best bets so far. I got many, many more coming today. So stay tuned. Number 15, Michigan at USC. Another unranked team favored over a ranked team. USC comes in at -2.5. I already put this out on Sunday, our Sunday night episode. Took the USC money line at -120. This game's going on 7:30 NBC, a little West Coast late afternoon kick out there in LA. USC has been absolutely dominant on offense. Number 1 opponent adjusted offense in the P4. But the defense, we thought they were going to take that next step with D'Anton Lynn and get a little better, and they've just struggled mightily. 55th in opponent adjusted defense out of 68 P4 teams. And they've really struggled against the pass.
Yep.
Luckily for them, Michigan's pass game has not been all it's cracked up to be.
It's better. It's better than what it was last year because they had nowhere to go but up.
Sure.
But they literally had me and you playing quarterback last year. But it's still not very good. There's no reason. Let's not sit here and try to mistake and say that Michigan's got a really good passing offense. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think Bryce has. I'm trying to look up the stats here. I think he's got 4 touchdown passes or so. On the season.
Yeah, the receiving core is just it's below average. There's nothing wrong with saying
he's got
that.
3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, the receiving core is below average. Underwood is a very good true freshman quarterback and is only going to continue to get better. He's a phenom. I can't wait to see what he looks like at the end of this year and what he looks like when, obviously, Michigan after this year. I can't imagine. If you're a wide receiver in college football right now, you were sitting there looking at Michigan going, show me the money, baby. Let me come play with
that's
Bryce
the next
Underwood.
step for Dave Portnoy and those guys is to go buy some wide receivers.
Yeah, and they should. Again, it's legal. So go out and just sling that money around it. Don't at any wide receiver to come play there. But yeah, I do think USC is a little bit better against the run than what they've been the last few years. But this is the best running game they faced by far. Justice Haynes, dude, Michigan doesn't need an explosive passing game because they've had an explosive running game. They sit there and run 2 yards and then 3 yards and then they'll get 4 yards and then 2 yards again and then boom, 65 to the house.
The same thing last year in this matchup. Remember that 2-minute drill where they didn't pass the ball at all and they won the game?
By the way, I don't know if we'll ever see that again. A 2-minute drill where their team never passed the ball. They just lined up and ran the ball constantly. But what I think the difference in this matchup is, though, compared to last year, one, obviously, it's not in the big house. But number 2, I do think that USC is better along the line of scrimmage than they were last year on both sides of the ball. I don't think that Michigan's got a very good defense, but I don't think they're as dominant up front as they were last year with Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. Yeah. And USC's offense is for sure better than they were last year. No question about it. It is a more like your traditional Lincoln Riley type of offense. Like the quarterback's playing within the system. Iowa's playing within the system. They're running the football really well. Their average yards per carry is, when you look at it, for his heyday, years at Oklahoma, when he was one of the best offenses in college football, like they always had averaged a lot of yards per carry. And USC's doing that this year with Wayman Jordan and that running back crew there. They're legit. Mekhi Lemon's one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. Jacoby Lane was not healthy their previous last couple of games. With the bye week that they've had and stuff, like Jacoby Lane should be healthier in this matchup. So I think you're going to get USC's best shot here. We're going to talk about another game here in a minute. It's very similar. The only difference is USC's not firing Lincoln Riley at the end of this year. With the recruiting class that they've got coming in, that they've got locked up right now, I say locked up. I mean, people could, decide to decommit. I don't think that's going to be the case. And with the new GM that he brought in that came over from Notre Dame, the Ant Lynn at DC, like I do think they're heading in the right direction. I don't think it'll be at the end of this year. If they suck the rest of this year and they lose this game, they lose multiple games this year, and then they suck next year, maybe I could see it then. But for USC fans and for all the podcasts out there and all the national media folks out there, if USC goes out and just gets punked, like gets just physically whipped by Michigan in the Coliseum in this game, whoo, the Wolves will be howling all over the place. And I personally will be out on USC for the rest of this year if that's the case. They can't just line up this week and just get their just butt kicked and get, you know what I mean? And just get ran over and look inferior physically. And that can't happen in this matchup. Like, this is a game USC needs to win at home. And for that being said, I do think Michigan is physically superior to USC. I do think they're going to have success running the football. But, dude, I think USC in the Coliseum in this back against the wall wounded animal mode mentality that they're going to have, Michigan going on the road across country to the Coliseum, this Lincoln Riley offense and Jade Mayava that are playing really well. I do think they're much better than what they were last year offensively. I think USC finds a way to get this one done, man. And I made it a best bet. The Trojans, the men of Troy, -2.5 as a best bet. I think USC finds a way to get this one done against Michigan.
Yeah, you look at this, and if USC loses this, they've got still road games at Notre Dame next week, Nebraska, and Oregon.
Yeah.
It's really is a must win. You look at Michigan though on the other side. If they get this game,
Agreed.
they don't play another ranked team till they host the Buckeyes the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
We talked about it was Mizzou a minute ago, bro. I couldn't agree more. Michigan is a legit, heavily favored, like playoff type team if they go and win this game because of the rest of their schedule. Yeah. Like if they win this game and then the only other, I'm not sitting there saying they're going to lose to Ohio State. They ain't lost to Ohio State in 100 years, it seems like. But like if they sit there and go 10-2 in the Big Ten in Michigan, they're going to make the playoff, bro. Like I'd be shocked if they don't. So I agree. This is just a huge game for both of these programs for obvious reasons. I agree with you on the USC front too. If they lose this game with the road games they still got left on their schedule, yikes. USC could be looking down the barrel of like a 7-5 type season if they were to lose this game.
So we're both on USC. Lance has got them at 2.5. I got them at -120 on the money line. Same time, 7:30 on ABC. The number 10 Georgia Bulldogs traveling down to the loveliest little village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama, to face off with the Auburn Tigers. Georgia comes in as a 3.5-point road favorite. And that line right there just might shock a lot of people if they've watched Auburn play against A&M and put up 170 total yards of offense, or watch them play against Oklahoma, where obviously they got screwed by the referees, but lost that game. You kind of look at the records here and you think, it's Georgia and Auburn. But this is it's going to be a very, very compelling game. Obviously, the couple of the keys are, can Georgia get pressure on Jackson Arnold? Because Georgia has not created a lot of pressure. Last time we saw them, obviously, the really football hardos out there watched them play Kentucky last week. But the last time the majority of America saw them was against Alabama a couple weeks ago. And they did not generate the kind of pressure that you're used to seeing a lot of Georgia teams generate in the past.
Dude, they're ranked in like the 100s in pressure rate, and sacks, and everything else. You're right, man. It's just strange seeing a Georgia team that can't get pressure on the quarterback.
Yep. And so sticking on that side of the ball, can Jackson Arnold use his legs? Because this is where I was alluding to earlier in the episode against, an Alabama Nick Saban type defense. That's what Kirby Smart runs.
Yep.
Can Jackson Arnold use his legs against that defense to open it up? Because that's what we always say. What gives Kirby's defenses the trouble usually is that running quarterbacks, that dual threat quarterback. So we'll get to see that there. On the other side of the ball, can Auburn stop the run? Because that's one thing that Georgia has gotten back to doing, and they can run the ball very well. They are fifth in opponent adjusted run defense, though, Auburn is. So they could be up to the challenge, and with that crowd behind them and everything, they really could get it going on defense there and kind of stifle that Georgia offense. Auburn, though, I think the biggest key to the game for me other than the atmosphere, which I'm sure we'll get into. But and we've said it for 3 games now, I believe, for Auburn. Can they hit the big shots against that Georgia secondary? Because that Georgia secondary has definitely struggled. Obviously, you saw Ty Simpson take an early shot, which Ryan Williams dropped. That was a deep ball. The passing game really, really excelled in Athens against that Georgia secondary. But Auburn is just, I mean, they're 51st in opponent adjusted passing offense. They just have not been able to get it done. But I mean, I think you even look at the Auburn or the Alabama wide receiving core, and then you look at Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. and Malcolm Simmons and Barry Thompson. Like those guys as a whole, if they hit their peak, are way more talented than that Alabama receiving core. And it's just a matter of can Jackson Arnold hit him?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it? With Jackson Arnold. I mean, will he actually let go of the ball? He's
Yeah.
a lot of the sacks and stuff that are happening. Yes, Auburn's offensive line has not played well. Let's start there. Like in this game, like the weakness for Auburn right now is giving up sacks. They've given up 8 billion sacks, it seems like. And now they've played some really good teams so far, too. Like through the first 5 games of the year, I mean, Auburn's played about as tough as a schedule as you can play. And they're giving up a lot of sacks, but Jackson Arnold's holding on to the dang ball a ton and holding on to it too long. And everybody saw the infamous video like back during like fall camp. Hugh Freeze was throwing his hat and screaming and hollering at Jackson Arnold. And during that clip, he was doing that because Jackson Arnold was holding on to the ball and not throwing the ball down the field to open receivers. And all your X's and O's gurus out there say that when they turn on the Auburn film and the all 22 film, there's dudes that are open. Arnold's just not throwing it. And it's like he won't throw the ball unless someone's butt naked open. Like Cam Coleman, at the end of the day, man, I'm with you. At the end of the day, if a play's not working like it should or whatever, you drop back to pass, and if something's not there, just find number 8 and throw that thing up. Throw that thing up and let him go, because 50-50 balls aren't 50-50 with that dude. Like a 50-50 ball with a normal wide receiver, yes, that is a 60-40, 65-35 type ball with Cam Coleman, without question. So that's number one. Number two, Auburn needs to be able to run the football some. Now, that's really hard to do against Georgia, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you need to run it all over Georgia. I don't think you can do that. I just don't think anybody can do that. But you got to be able to keep them honest. You can't allow them to just, well, you're just going to throw every play. Like, we're going to make you one-dimensional. You got to be able to keep them honest. Like this, even if you're just going to get 2 or 3 yards, whatever, like here and there, you've got to be able to commit to it, stay committed to it. And I agree, the Kirby Smart defense has had trouble with mobile quarterbacks. But it's not just mobile quarterbacks, it's dual threat, the emphasis on dual threat. You've got to be able to make some plays in the passing game, and then you take off running. When the play breaks down, you take off running. And I believe Arnold can do that. It's just hard for me, man, to sit here and think, though, that he's just going to all of a sudden just turn into, Joe Montana back there and start slinging the ball all over the yard. I just don't think that's who he is. But he can be a little bit improved.
Yeah.
Auburn had 2 road games back-to-back weeks at A&M and at Oklahoma, like you alluded to earlier. Bro, they didn't play well. They could not have honestly played worse offensively in those 2 games. Against Oklahoma, they gave up 75,000 sacks and all these tackles for a loss. Referees looked like they were on the take for Oklahoma, and not a single call that was not even, I'm even going to call it 50-50. Not even really bang-bang. A call that should have went their way, wasn't going their way. And yet there's Auburn at the end of the game, down 5, with the ball in their hand with a chance to go win the game. And we know how it ended. They got the safety, and we covered the spread. Thank you, Oklahoma defensive line. But then against Texas A&M, A&M comes in, hotter than can be, one of the hottest teams in America. Their offense is really great, blah, blah, blah. And Auburn's defense slows them down, keeps them from scoring a bunch of points, holds them to 16 points. Some of that was also caused by some A&M mistakes. But still, Auburn could not have played much worse offensively. And there they are at the end of the game, ball in hand, chance to go win the football game. So if they just play, average on offense, just average in this game, Auburn's defense is absolutely good enough to win this game in Jordan-Hare Stadium. By the way, shout out to Ari Wasserman for saying Jordan-Hare. But Auburn's defense is flat out good enough to win them this football game in Jordan-Hare. They just need a little bit of help from their offense, just a little bit. And I have a hot take for you here. Are we
Okay.
sure that Georgia right now, now we know what the rankings say. Is Georgia better than a John Mateer led Oklahoma team and Texas A&M right now?
No.
I agree. Like I'm not. I mean, maybe they are, but I don't necessarily. That's definitely not like. Oh yeah, they definitely are. So Auburn's getting Georgia at home at night. They're coming off a bye. Georgia's got some injuries and banged up a little bit along that offensive line. Georgia can't get pressure on the quarterback right now. It's a must-win game for you. Can they get it done? Because, bro, let me tell you, if they don't, unlike the Lincoln Riley thing that I said a minute ago, I can promise you one program that if Auburn goes out the rest of this year and they go 6-6 with this roster that they've got with back-to-back top 8 recruiting classes, and they don't get it done in this game, dude, that place will become toxic. I know it well. I know it really well. That place will become toxic. If they go out and they look like a bad wing T high school offense with, offensive guru Hugh Freeze calling plays, and they can't move the football, and Georgia just goes in there and just stifles them, and Auburn again looks like just complete booty on offense, and Georgia wins this game, and it's not even competitive, I can promise you, Hugh Freeze's seat will officially become hot. Not saying he's going to be fired, but it will become hot.
They're going to all be asking if he just played golf the entire bye week.
That may be. There may be. But
so with the big question of the game is obviously, we talked about it. How will the atmosphere affect the game? And people say, Jordan-Hare turns into a different place at night, and there's voodoo and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, Georgia and Kirby, Kirby almost welcomes, environments like that. We saw with Texas last year at that night game and everything.
Agreed.
Contrary to popular belief, since 2022, so just the past, 3.5 seasons, Auburn's lost 11 times at home. Like, it's not some impenetrable force, and they're 11-14 against the spread at home.
Well,
in that time frame.
The only thing I'll say against that, bro, like I did that is a fact. That stat is, and I'm not trying to defend them here. I'm not trying to be Lance Freeze here, but dude, they've had some trash football teams. Like, so those
are we sure?
Include,
are we sure that this team's better than those teams?
Yes,
yet,
they're way more talented than those teams. They are better. They are better. They're better than the team that they had last year. They're definitely better than the teams they had under Brian friggin' Harsin, without question. But are they like great, elite, something like that? No. They're really good defensively. Their defense deserves better from the way they've played this year. In that DJ Durkin defense. But I understand that those stats don't lie. I don't disagree with you. And with all this being,
I got some other stats that don't lie for you.
All right, go ahead.
Ready for these?
Yeah.
Since that same time frame, since 2022, Georgia is 13-26 against the spread after a win.
Ooh.
And as an away favorite, they're 3-9 against the spread. As a favorite period since 2022, they're 16-28 against the spread. So, I mean, is basically Kirby Smart and Brent Key, same person, right?
Yeah,
same guy.
Georgia fans will love hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, because of all that, because again, Auburn is backs against the wall. I just think with the atmosphere, this is a game that they've been focusing on for a long time. They had the bye week. We talked about it a month ago. You sent me a picture, or a video, and just imagine that place when Georgia comes to town. It'll most likely be a night game. Turns out it is a night game. They're catching 3.5 points at home. I know they've struggled, but I'm going to take Auburn. That's my 5th best bet in 5 big game breakdowns. I'm taking Auburn plus 3.5 as a best bet.
My 4th best bet of the 5 big game breakdowns that we're given, I'm with you. I'm taking Auburn plus 3.5 at home against Georgia in this game.
They're just going to have to beat us.
It's the same setup for me, the way I feel about it, that I felt about Florida last week against Texas when I gave Florida money line and Florida to win the game straight up and obviously cover that 6.5 point spread. I just think, again, the bye week, the back against the wall mentality, Auburn absolutely is talented enough to compete with Georgia and win this game. It's just a matter of, can they get anything from their offense? If Auburn can just get average play from the offense, I think the defense is good enough to win this game. And I think Auburn will find a way to cover this 3.5. So I'm with you. Auburn plus 3.5 is a best bet of mine in this game.
The last of our big game breakdowns. Number 1, Ohio State traveling to Champaign for big noon kickoff to take on number 17, Illinois. Ohio State's dropped all the way down to a 14.5 point favorite. It once was like 16.5, 17. This is the second, I think, of 3 road tests for Ohio State this year. They went to Washington, took care of business 24-6. Really impressive win there. They go to Illinois here, and then they go to Michigan at the end of the year. This is it's a noon game, so obviously no more prime time for Ohio State, except for when they play Ohio and Minnesota and teams like that. Illinois, obviously we know the deal with them. Really good win against Duke at the beginning of the year. Got absolutely smoked by Indiana, and then came back and bounced back really, really well, getting that win at home over USC. Really, with everything going against them too, like losing the turnover battle, all that stuff. Still found a way to get it done in Champaign. They've really, really struggled to run the ball, and they've struggled to stop the run. And I don't think that bodes well. I can't see them having success on the run game against the Buckeyes. I know Luke Altmaier has played really, really well. I think they're top 5 in opponent-adjusted passing offense.
He's a stud, dude. He's a stud.
Yeah, but they're 59th in opponent-adjusted rush offense and 51st in opponent-adjusted rush defense. I know Ohio State's kind of opened things up a little bit here. They opened things up with Julian Sayin against Minnesota and that 39-point victory he threw for, over 300 yards. But this is a game where you got to think like they're on the road. It's a noon game. They want to come in. They want to slow it down. They want to give it to James Peoples. They want to give it to Bo Jackson. They want to give it to C.J. Donaldson, control that clock, because I think they're very, very confident in that defense. And for the first couple drives, quarter and a half, they are going to absolutely make Luke Altmaier beat them. The question is like, can he do enough to soften up that defense? I don't know. I would highly doubt it.
Yeah, I think Luke Altmaier is good enough to make some plays for Illinois against the Buckeye defense. My only problem is like, I mean, Hank Beaty's a really good wide receiver, but like, is he going to be able to consistently get open against this Buckeye secondary who's got dudes that run, they've got freaks everywhere on this defense? Like, is that combination good enough to be able to move the football consistently up and down the field against this Buckeye defense? And I'm again, man, I'm going to keep saying it every time we talk about Illinois. Like, I just think it is what they are at this point. Maybe they can continue. Maybe they get a little better throughout the year, but that offensive line, man, is just not very good. All the production that they brought back this year, like that Illinois offensive line just is not very good so far. And that does not bode well when you're playing this Buckeye defensive front at all. And I think they're going to have major problems, man, keeping Altmaier upright. I think they're going to have major problems running the football. And it's not just them, bro. I can think really just about any offense is going to have trouble with this Buckeye defense. Again, going podcast style here. This Ohio State defense and this Ohio State team, this year's Ohio State team, do you know what style of play they play, Tyler?
What style?
Joyless murder ball. That is this Ohio State team. That is what people said during the heyday of the Nick Saban era, that the style of play that they had. They'll come out and really early in the game, they're just kind of leaning on their defense. They're going to run the football. They're being just efficient game managing with their quarterback. And you just can't do anything about it on the opposing side of the ball. Their defense is just wearing you out, causing you 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Your drive charts look pathetic. Offensively, they're not really doing anything spectacular. They're just moving the ball down the field against you. And then all of a sudden, boom, they constrict like a boa constrictor. And your defense has been on the field the whole frigging game. And they open things up in the passing game more, like they've done with Julian Sayin in the second half of some of these games. And when they've got a game kind of like when they realize, okay, our defense has this game, let's turn Julian Sayin and these wide receivers loose, and it's the death by 1,000 cuts, and then we're just going to knock you out type deal.
Yeah.
And just there's nothing you can do about it. That's what this Ohio State team's been doing so far this year. The defense is just dominating the games. They're just like a boa constrictor out there, just squeezing you tighter and tighter and tighter. Nothing you can do about it. Uh, and on Illinois on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the only time that we've seen them in the 2 games against good passing offenses, I mean, USC had a lot of success throwing the football against them, and they are a very good passing offense. Indiana had a lot of success against them throwing the football. That is another good passing offense, obviously. Duke in that game, I mean, Duke had 5 turnovers, but they had success throwing the football. Like, you watched that same game I did. There were Duke players running open against that secondary. They just going all of a sudden this week just stop Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, dude? No.
No.
No, they're not. And if they do, okay, take my money. I mean, they build those tall buildings in Vegas for a reason, and maybe they build them on games like this. But they're going to have to take my money in this one, bro. Give me Ohio State minus 14 at minus 115 odds. It down to 14.5. And I was like, okay, again, I'll buy that half a point. I don't think I'm going to need that half a point, but I'll take Ohio State minus 14 at minus 115 odds. I think the Buckeyes get this one done. And I'm thinking like a 31-10 type of game. Like, maybe worse, but they're going to cover this game. They're going to cover the spread, and they're going to take care of business in Champaign in this game.
I mean, why not buy it up to minus 20.5? Get a little plus money there. Like that's what I'm thinking. It's honestly, I think Ohio State rolls in this game.
Yep. If they play,
I think Illinois is incredibly overrated. You've thought that from the very beginning of the season.
Yep.
I think I had him. You had him. I can't remember what
I had him going.
Like,
I had him going 8-4
5.
this year.
I think I might have had it 7-5, and people were laughing at me. But I mean, I just think for them to be number 17 and be 14.5-point home dogs when you had a unranked Washington team a couple weeks ago be only 8-point dogs against number 1 Ohio State, that just kind of tells you what Vegas thinks of Illinois, and the fact that they're ranked number 17 is not swaying them at all. I think Ohio State goes in. I think they dominate. I think they get, 34-10, 41-10. So, I mean, it's almost like a name your score situation.
I don't disagree, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah. All right, a couple under the radar games real quick. Our Big 12 brethren, I almost said Pac-12, our Big 12 brethren, number 21, Arizona State at Utah.
Big 12
our
after dark in Salt Lake at Rice Eccles. Let's go, baby. Come on with it.
This is our third case where unranked is favored over ranked team. And this time Utah's favored by 6 points at home over 21 Arizona State. 10:15 ESPN kickoff. I think Arizona State's defense, though, I think it's going to keep them in the game. They are a very impressive defense so far. They've won a couple of really solid, classic Big 12 games, ended in 3 points over Baylor, and then beating TCU at home was a really good win for them. This just looks like a classic, like, okay, if you believe in Kyle Whittingham and you just kind of want to throw that Texas Tech game you don't want to think about it anymore. It was just an aberration. They got a night game at Rice Eccles. They're going to be just fine. They're going to take care of business against Kenny D. But I told you, man, those 2 games against Baylor and TCU, we just kept betting against Kenny Dillingham, and he just kept making us look like idiots.
Mm-hmm.
This time I'm rolling. I'm rolling with the Sun Devils. I got them at plus 6.5, and more on them here in a couple minutes.
All right. Yeah, love both of these coaches, love both of these teams. We said that about a lot of teams in the Big 12, but like these 2, Texas Tech and a couple of others, just as a college football fan, I just love those teams, bro, and love the coaches. But Arizona State, man, there's no doubt. They've been running the football really well. And we know how good Sam Levitt is as a QB, but they've been really leaning on that running game a lot so far this year. And it's just tough for me to see a Morgan Scalley Utah defense, man, just getting ran all over. I know against Texas Tech late in that second half, they started giving up some yards and whatnot. But again, overall, Utah is going to be able to slow down your running game. And I agree with you. The Arizona State defense is good. I think both these defenses could stiffen up against each other really hard in this game. Immunity, as Josh Pate would say. And I want to see Devin Dampier, bro, what he looks like again. Like so far, we saw him in one like really big test against Texas Tech and knew that Utah offense and Dampier they just didn't do anything, dude. And again, I've been on record saying that I think the Texas Tech defensive front is as good as there is in college football, maybe outside of Oklahoma. And it's just funny to say that because we're talking about Texas Tech. I don't think Arizona State's got that type of defensive front at all, but they're solid. They're solid. So I need to see Devin Dampier against a really formidable opponent like the Fun Devils step up and play good football. and play the quarterback position really well if Utah is going to be the team that I predicted to go to the Big 12 championship. I've got Utah playing Texas Tech before the season. That's why I picked it to go to the Big 12 title. Sorry, Sun Devil fans who are listening to this. I promise I still love Kenny D and the Fun Devils. But if Utah is going to make a trip to Jerry's World to play in the Big 12 championship, got to have this one. Got to have it. And with Arizona State already beating Baylor at Baylor and already beating TCU, bro, if they can go into Salt Lake, into Rice-Eccles at night and get this W, I know the Big 12 is a wild conference and there's still multiple landmines on that schedule that we're probably not even thinking about. But, man, this would set them up really pretty in tiebreaker situations and everything else to possibly make a repeat run at winning the Big 12 again if they can win this game.
Talk about landmines. You want to talk about next week, October 18th, Sun Devils hosting the Red Raiders.
Oh, I can't wait for that one, bro. That's gonna be such a fun game. And then Utah's got the Holy War next week, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a chance both these teams look ahead, but I mean, when you got number 21 waltzing into town, you got, going to Rice-Eccles, like you're going to be fully focused. Yep. But it's just hard for me to believe that I'm getting 6 to 6.5 points in a Big 12 game with like a ranked team, two really proven teams too, proven coaches. Yeah. I mean, we joke all the time, like all these games end in 27-24.
Right. Yeah. This isn't Utah versus, West Virginia. You know what I mean? It's not Arizona State hosting UCF. I mean, these better teams in the Big 12, they're usually closer games. So game pick here, I'm going to take Utah to win the game. It's not a best bet. I agree with you. Those points are kind of up there. If you made me pick a side, I might take the points with Arizona State. But again, it's not a best bet. I like Utah to win this game and get the dub in Salt Lake against Arizona State.
Lastly, the Florida Gators, resurgent Florida Gators, at number 5, Texas A&M. 7.5-point favorites are the Aggies at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We've been talking about A&M's defense like they've been struggling this season, right? Kind of just been the consensus. Did you know that they are 5th in opponent-adjusted total defense?
Well, the last 2 weeks, they've played really well defensively. After that bye week, before the Auburn game, I mean, you got to think Mike Elko just lit into some folks and got that defense playing much better ball, without question.
Yeah. And we've been gassing up Florida's defense. Honestly, they've looked really good against Texas and all this stuff. They're 37th in opponent-adjusted defense. A&M's got the edge there. A&M's got the edge on offense. Yep. A&M's got the edge in coaching. They've only allowed 22% third down conversions on defense. They have a 13% negative play rate, which is 6th in the country. But here we are again. Billy Napier's last stand. I mean, probably not quite. I mean, I think he bought himself another week or two with that Texas win, but it's just like, okay, Texas, you beat Texas at home. Good job. Have fun in College Station next week. But you're talking about if Florida can somehow get this win, you look at the rest of their schedule, it does. I'm not going to say it gets easier because it's the SEC we're talking about, but it lightens up a little bit, right? So this is like it's not an outrageous line here, 7.5. So you're talking 4.5 on a neutral. That's fairly common for an SEC game.
I mean, the talent profile, bro, between these two teams, like we talk about it constantly. Florida's got the talent to play with anybody. It's can Billy Napier get out of his own way, and can they win in spite of him? And when you look at this game, A&M obviously wants to run the football. Like, that is number one. They're going to run the football and have explosive passing plays with those receivers. And with Mario Craver and KC Concepcion. Like, that is literally what their offense is. And Marcel Reed is not very efficient. He's not going to stand back there and be super accurate and be 80% passer or 75% passer or whatever like that. It's run the rock with that stable of backs and hit explosive passing plays. I think Florida's defense matches up fine, bro, with A&M. It's with Florida, like, they were in the game in Baton Rouge against LSU despite throwing 5 picks. They were in the game against Miami when they literally couldn't move the football, like we were talking about Auburn a minute ago. And then they got the bye week, and then they got Dallas Wilson back from injury, and now all of a sudden their offense, and look, they hand the ball to this guy named Jaden Ball. Like, run the ball. Like, they got the ball to Jaden Ball. And 30 times. He had 30 touches in their last game. Amazing when the best player on the football field actually touches the football, what happens for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Florida's recipe for success in this game, give the freaking ball to Jaden Ball and throw the football to Dallas Wilson. Okay, there you go. And
Yeah.
for A&M, like, Florida's got to be able to, in an atmosphere like this, obviously like a Kyle Field, the pass rushers that A&M's got. A&M's done a really good job, especially the last 2 weeks, of getting creating a lot of havoc, a lot of tackles for a loss, sacks, whatnot. Florida's got to be able to protect Lagway, and they've got to be able to run the football. If they can't run the football, this could get ugly. I think Florida's going to have some success running the football in this game with Jaden Ball. And I'm going to shock the world here with everybody. If you've been listening to us every single week, I'm going to go back to the well here, and I'm going to pick Florida against the spread to cover that 7.5. It was at 8.5, whatever, a couple of days ago. I got Florida at +8. It was actually only the second bet I made of the week. My boy Cole, old Freddie, texted me and said, "All right, who we got? Florida and who else? I know you're going to put out Florida, of course."
Yeah.
So yeah, my upset alert last week was Florida over Texas. It got there. I'm not going to call the outright upset. Can't get there yet. But I think Florida covers the spread of that +8, and this is going to be a fantastic football game at Kyle Field at night.
Yeah, this is the first of our games we've talked about. I don't really have a lean on, but if you made me pick it, I would probably take the points with Florida. I mean, they've just kind of proven Billy Napier's record as an underdog against the spread. A&M, obviously, Elko aside last year, but haven't been the best when favored at home. But I think I would take the points with Florida and hope that, backs against the wall. We saw it last year. They won a game, and then they won another one, and then they won another one, and then they won another one. And they won some of those on the road, right? So it wouldn't be unheard of for them to go into College Station to win that game. And so I think I would take Florida, but this is kind of a stay away from me. But if you made me pick it, I'd probably pick Florida.
Last thing, how many losses does Florida have in the SEC play so far this year? I think they have just one, LSU. Only one.
Sure.
Only one so far. So they still got everything to play for, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. It's time. We started a new streak last week. Lance went to the well with Florida, and we got ourselves a money line winner there. I'm gonna go with a team I mentioned 10 minutes ago. I said stay tuned for more on them. I'm gonna go outright upset. Arizona State going into Rice Eccles and getting it done over Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes. Kenny D has made us look foolish before. I think in the Big 12, anything could happen. Obviously, you see a ranked team being an underdog, for a touchdown. I think Arizona State has a really good shot at going in there and getting the job done outright. So I'm going to take Arizona State as my money line upset of the week.
All right, man. I searched hard because the line.
We do the laugh track
because the lines move. There's a couple that I was looking at that it's kind of dipped under that number that I want to get. So I'm going to ask you, for the first time in the history of the 3 years of doing this ATB podcast, will you allow me to break the rule of it has to be someone getting more than 4 points, so 4.5 or more, it qualifies for upset alert. Will you allow me to pick a team that is getting 3.5 points to win outright because of my fandom and the team that I'm talking about picking here to win outright? Will you allow it?
Sure. I mean, I wish we were doing a live show so we could, let the chat tell us. But yeah, go ahead.
Such a nice guy. That's why we're boys, man. That's why we're boys.
Yeah. Whatever we can do to keep the streak going.
Exactly. So my upset alert pick is the team getting 3.5 points. I've already given them out on this show as +3.5 as a best bet. I'm taking Auburn to win outright against Georgia in Jordan-Hare at night. Auburn going to take down the Dogs is my upset alert pick of the week. And again, I didn't have any more that I liked. I really didn't have any that it was over 4 points that I just liked at all, and I wasn't going to give out some just crap for the heck of it. And I didn't want to say I don't have any. I think Auburn's going to win the game outright, and it's only a half a point away from being an upset alert pick.
It might get to 4 by kickoff. Who knows?
Yeah, and me, again, we don't hide our fandom on here. Me being an Alabama fan, picking Auburn to win outright is my upset alert pick. Should ruffle the feathers a little bit with some people. Should fire some people up in a good way or a bad way.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Auburn +3.5.
Okay, Arizona State and Auburn. There you go. Time for best bets. Like I said, I'm 22-15. Lance is 20-17. Both winning records. I've already given out a ton, so I'm going to go through those. USC money line -120. Oklahoma money line +115. Alabama -3. Indiana +7.5. Auburn +3.5. Arizona State +6.5. I gave out Michigan State -7.5 on Sunday's show. That spot game, UCLA coming off their Super Bowl win over Penn State. Noon Eastern kickoff, 9 Pacific. I'm going to take Michigan State in that spot right there. I'm going to go Friday Night Lights action. I'm going to go North Texas money line -105 at home over the USF Bulls. I know the Bulls are used to tough competition. It's a national TV game for the Mean Green. It's a blackout going on there. I think our boys, I want to say our boys at 3 Tech are going to be at that
Yep.
game. So they're going to be pulling for North Texas. I'm going to be pulling for North Texas. So also, I'm going to stay in the state of Texas. I'm going to take the Red Raiders -14 over the Jayhawks. They keep rolling with that train. They're 5-0 against the spread. Let's keep going. And then a couple more here that might surprise you. One of them, I'm gonna go in Lance's backyard, in his family's backyard. And I'm gonna take Virginia Tech +14.5 at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And
Brent Key is a favorite.
if you know anything about Brent Key, you know he is booty as a favorite. 4-8 as a home favorite since 2022 against the spread. So I'm going to hope that Philip Montgomery and those boys can keep it rolling. I know they lost a heartbreaker last week to Wake Forest, but I'm going to hope they can keep it rolling from the NC State game the week before. This is their 7th game in a row, too. We talked about these teams that have already played 6 games. That's tough, but I think that they get to go in there and prove a point. And it's still, I mean, it's still a talented team, still a talented quarterback. They still got the talent there. So I'm going to take them +14.5. And then I'm also going to roll with the Iowa Hawkeyes. I know they got to look at spot. They're hosting Penn State next week, but they're on the road at Wisconsin. Offense hasn't been great, but their defense is really, really good. That's going to be the best unit in this game. Wisconsin's offense is booty. Wisconsin's defense is booty. Wisconsin's coaching staff is booty. Iowa is 22-8 against the spread as a road favorite since 2014. Kirk Ferentz knows how to get it done on the road. That's why defense travels. So I'm taking Iowa -3.5 at Wisconsin. So I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 best bets for the week.
Spraying that board.
Spraying that board.
That's right. I love it. Good stuff, man. All right. I'm with you on Michigan State, Sparty, because of the spot. You know, we already talked about it. I gave it out with you earlier this week. When you gave it out, Michigan State -7.5 against UCLA. Bama, when it was -2.5, I got Bama -2.5 against Mizzou. Ohio State -14 at -115 odds to take care of business in Champaign against the Illini. I already gave out Auburn +3.5 and on the money line. Sprinkle a little on the money line against Georgia to take care of business against the Dogs at home Saturday night in Jordan-Hare. Florida +8 against Texas A&M. I'm not going to give out money line. I may get there, sprinkle a little bit, but no, I'm just going to take Florida +8 against the Ags. OU in Texas, so the Red River Shootout. Not going to be a shootout in this one. I'm going to take under 43.5 in that game. USC -2.5 at home against Michigan. And the only one that I've not mentioned yet, you backing my boys? I got you back this week with your boys. I'm taking the Irish, laying a boatload against NC State in South Bend, -22, laying 22 points. NC State's defense, trash. Notre Dame's offense, opposite of trash. And Notre Dame's defense been getting better these last few weeks, quietly getting better these last few weeks. And I think the Irish, week in and week out, are going to light folks up and just pound people. And they're going to continue doing that like they've done the last couple of weeks. So I'll take Notre Dame -22. I think they win this game. Like it's like a 45-17 type of game, type deal. They'll be able to name their score and take care of business against NC State at home. And that is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 best. So we got 19 combined.
19. The record may get better or may get worse. We'll see.
Love it, man. Love it. Good stuff, dude.
All right, that's it for us. Stay tuned for this weekend. We'll be coming at you with our Week 7 reaction show. Again, follow us on X, X, TikTok, Instagram, all that, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. You know the deal. You know by now. You know by now you should be subscribed to this channel. You should be following us on all socials. So for Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Nohe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.